Hi YouTube, this video is about conducting a bug sweep at home. One that won't cost you the best part of £1,000. It will cost you roughly £120 for this device plus whatever you want to record on. So to explain the scenario a little bit, I've travelled to someone's house who got in contact with us via the website www.allinvestigations.info, 24-hour service. So what we're actually doing today is conducting a bug sweep. Now it's going to be this video is just a rough explanation on how to conduct one. Obviously the full bug sweep was carried out earlier today. I just thought it would be a good idea to put it on YouTube for all my subscribers and viewers. So to get onto the test conditions, there is nothing in the property, no TV, no phone, no games console with the Wi-Fi's turned off, so nothing actually physically placed there by the occupant should provide a radio frequency. So to turn the testing device on, I'm going to explain the device so you can fully appreciate what's about to happen. So to show the normal or the untapped conditions, we've got a very good level of electromagnetic field. The top reading here, that should be anywhere between 0 and 1 is a safe environment. The electric field I won't go into right now because we're looking at magnetic field and RF, but I will make a separate video on the electric field. So yeah, the natural frequency that is good for humans and that the human body emits is anywhere between sort of 50 and 65. So I'm going to enter the property. I'm going to try not to show you too much of the property because obviously it is confidential and that's not the intended purpose of this video. So I'm going to enter the property. And what I'm actually going to do is first I'm going to talk to you about the fuse box. So with the fuse box is a good trick. I'll just show you an example of the fuse box and explain to you in a little bit more detail. With a fuse box, the best test to do when you initially move into a property is to actually turn all of the fuses off. Go around all of the sockets in your property with a phone charger. Plug your phone in, and if it charges, you've got a violating electric source because obviously there should be no power when this master switch in your fuse box is turned off. There should be no power going through your property, so that's the best test to do initially. Second thing to do is to get your device and basically go around the sockets in your property. So, for example, this socket here. As we can see, the magnetic field was slightly raised when I walked through the door, which already suggests that some form of unnatural environment. So I'm going to turn the switch on and off, and what should happen if there is a radio frequency transmitting device is that the radio frequency on this detector should obviously change. So power was turned on and off, and there was no real change in the radio frequency there, so that could perhaps indicate that this one does not have a transmitting device. Let's just double check. Okay, so it jumped to about 300. Now the device I'm filming on doesn't actually emit a radio frequency. It's a stable radio frequency, so it shouldn't jump like that. Sorry for that bit of confusion there, but so it jumped twice out of 5 attempts, which may indicate that the circuitry in the property has isolation points and there is not a steady flow throughout the property. So again, it jumped to just under 300. Now this detector isn't isn't accurate to the decimal point, but that would indicate that, yeah, that's up to 500. So that would indicate that there is a possibility that that does have a bug in the circuit, in the socket. So I'm going to give you the next one. This is a plug for a heater. Now we can see already the electromagnetic field jumped to over 10 when the heater was turned on, and instantly started dropping. So that would indicate that this socket here is to tamper with the electromagnetic field. You can have a look at the effects of electromagnetic field distortion yourself on the internet. I can't explain that in this video. This video is meant to be between 10 and 15 minutes, but that's clear evidence that your property is or has some kind of distortion, whether it be surveillance or negligence via the people who prepare the property. So I'm going to turn that one off because that is a severe implications on health if you're living in a magnetic field. Even though the detector says good, it should be really between 0 and 1, 2 at a maximum. So when that socket's turned off, the electromagnetic field instantly turns to 0. So we'll just try that one again, just to prove the point, instantly up to 8, 10, perhaps 15 in a moment, which is what it was originally, yeah, so 16 this time. So that's a very, very concerning piece of wiring and connection on that socket there. So I'll try and give you another example of the radio frequency one now. The intended purpose of a flat which is used to surveil a target, one of the intended purposes is that nowhere in your property should you be able to have any form of communication with anyone without the surveillance team's knowledge. So even in the bathroom there is likely to be some kind of tampering done to put you under surveillance. So the only actual socket in the bathroom in this property is the light. So I've got to hold the camera at an angle here. Put the device as near as possible. And I'm just going to, you won't be able to see the readings for a second, but that seems stable. So perhaps the bathroom does not itself have a bug, but the other transmitters and receivers around the property may be able to detect that itself. So I'm just going to try another one which is just in the hallway outside of the bathroom. Again, the radio frequency's moved before I've even tried to test it, so it would indicate that the bugs are in operation as we speak. So that plug itself isn't an issue from what I can see there. I'm going to turn on, just to show you, it's too dark actually. Yeah, you can't really see it, bear with me 1 second. So yeah, that's the socket there. You can see that, yep, that's the socket there. And there's a fused element next to it, so I'm going to turn the fuse on and see what happens. Excuse me, so yeah, the radio frequency went up to about 300, so I'll try the original socket again to see if the fused element has got anything to do with this socket here. Remains fairly stable. So let's try this fused element again, because in this scenario this could be a hoax socket, so there may or may not be the need for for this socket to be actually in the property. Obviously I'm not a trained electrician, so I'd have to verify that opinion. However, you can see again that this socket here, the fused element, went up to, it spiked up to 500 and is now returning slowly back to normal. So again, the electromagnetic field is jumping around, which suggests that the whole environment is magnetically field distortioned. So yeah, that's the basic gist of how to do bug sweeps at home. Please do not tamper with the electrics yourself. Please do try and get an independent electrician to verify your opinion, or a firm such as myself or others. And yeah, that's the basic gist of it. Now, just to talk about my own situation a little bit, I had an interesting day at home where, because of this kind of activity that I do for people and help other TIs and persons of interest, if you're keeping up with my timeline, then you'll see that I've had some hacks and other activity. Now, I actually found out that the hackers have complete control over my router, my Wi-Fi network. It was actually impossible for me to change the admin settings, the admin username or the admin password, etc. Also, Sky agreed with what I was saying, record the conversations, and they're going to send a new router to my property, so hopefully that will stop the continued Section 2 offences under the Protection from Harassment Act. And if you want to check that out, have a look at cyber stalking. There's a few grounds on which you can actually report that and evidence that. Obviously, if you're decent at computers, you'll need to find MAC addresses and various event logs and things, which again I can do for you. I've got the code to actually run the command prompt. But anyway, yeah, I've divulged a little bit. So yeah, that's how to do a basic level type bug sweep in your property. If any of those readings are showing in your property, then you really need to get in touch with someone and get some legal advice. So I'm going to leave this property now, and well, obviously because there's surveillance in this property and it's all being evidenced. I've written up the reports for this and other things for this specific case, and this would be ongoing work. So if you like what you see in this video and you believe that you may be under surveillance, then please do get in touch. I'll give you the website again, allinvestigations.info. 24-hour service, so if you call us at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning with the belief that you are being bugged or any kind of harassment, hacking, etc., then please do call. And even if we miss your call at 2 in the morning, you'll have a call back in 5 minutes, and we'll make a plan of action within 15 or 20 minutes after hearing your scenario. So that's everything for now. Hope you've enjoyed watching the video, and please do comment, like, subscribe, share and contact us. Thank you, YouTube.